G'day, I'm Ash. Hope you're all doing well. This is the 1.77 dev server for the new update that is going to come to War Thunder soon, TM. Now this dev server is a particularly massive dev server. There is so much content. If you click the link in the description, you can have a look and read the patch notes for yourself. There are so many changes, I'm going to need like a lawyer or some legal team to actually dissect it all. There is a lot of information. So for the purposes of today, we're going to be focusing on aircraft, or at least short term. So this is going to be the brief overview for some of the aircraft within the game, or at least upcoming aircraft at least. One thing to note here, this is a development server, so everything is still under testing. There's still going to be a lot of bug fixes and what have you. So, in other words, everything here is subject to change and will probably not be the same when it hits the live server at least. Starting off with America, this patch only has one aircraft coming to its tech tree, and that is a new F-84 G21RE, or also known as a reskinned Italian F-84. It's the same standard as the other F-84 in the tree. There's nothing too much different about it. It's just an interesting aircraft. Pretty much identical and a copy-paste to that of the Italian aircraft. And it's even got the same armament, same loadout and everything. So, those American fans who are wanting the F-84, there you are. Now, the Germans get the Heinkel 177A5, as no surprise because I did a video on it the other day, the announcement for the 177. It is a beautiful aircraft, bristling with guns, and it is just stunning. It reminds me of something out of Star Wars. People call this aircraft ugly, and some people don't like it. But I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I can't really describe why. It's got a decent armor layout. Let me show you here. For one of the first German bombers to be actually heavily armoured like this, I think it's going to be interesting. Now, it is rank 4, battle rating 5.3, that is subject to change, however. It's got a decent amount of ammunition too, as you can see here. It's just bristling with guns, so there's going to be ammunition everywhere. Let's take a look at the modifications here. So, it has 48 50 kilo bombs, or 12 250 kilo bombs, or 6 500 kilo bombs, then 4 times 1,000 kilo bombs, then 2 times 1,800 kilo bombs, and then the big mother of all loads, 2 1,800 kilo bombs with 6 500 kilo bombs. Goodness me. That's pretty much it. It is nothing too special. However, I wish Gaijin would implement a different way of looking at bombers, because I kind of feel like this thing is a bit useless. The way it sits in the game at the moment, I think bombers need a more important role, and there needs to be some sort of teamwork aspect. There needs to be a value or some sort of way that it is important for you to protect these things. It is an absolute firecracker, and if you're going to shoot this thing, shoot it direct in the dead center here, because it is just fuel tank city. Absolute fuel tank city. The engines are absolutely massive here, and so they are, because this thing has a top speed of 518 kilometers an hour, and that's pretty damn fast. And it is just a beautiful aircraft. This is the LA-200, a rank 5 battle rating 8.0 top tier Russian jet. It's equipped with 3 37mm guns, 3 of them. But it's lacking on the ammunition count because you've only got 150 rounds. So you're going to have to use this thing extremely well and have a lot of trigger patience when it comes to shooting at enemies. It's got a max speed of 1,061 kilometers at sea level, and a decent everything else. However, one thing to note, this thing is taking the place of the LA-174. So for those of you who have the LA-174, an event vehicle that was given away a couple of patches ago for completing some challenges, it used to sit underneath the LA-15, and now the LA-200 occupies that spot. So the LA-174 could become possibly the first premium tier 5 aircraft. Moving on to the first of 2 new aircraft for Great Britain. Now, Britain has a new tier 4 premium, and this thing is armed with 4 20mm cannons and is a clip wing, so it's going to be amazing in a roll. but it looks kind of like a Mustang. This is developed by Martin Baker, which is a company that actually makes ejector seats. And they decided that they would make a counter-rotating prop aircraft, because why the hell not? However, I do have a couple of qualms with this thing, as I'd like to see the CAC-15 Kangaroo instead of this thing, but there'll be a review on this aircraft coming up soon. For now, it's rank 4, battle rating 5.7, it has 800 rounds of 20mm Hispano cannons, it's got a max speed of 686 km an hour. As for armour, it has none at the current time, and X-ray, well, nothing too special, everything's relatively protected, except for the fact that if you shoot it directly in the centre there, it seems to be a recurring theme with this patch. If you shoot anything in the centre, it's going to either catch on fire or die. As for modifications, it only has guns, there's no secondary ordnance, and there'll be a review on this at a later time. For those of you who are fans of Spitfires, there are 2 new Spitfires. In fact, the non-tropical variants of the VB Trop and the VC Trop have been added to the game. So the land-based variants, well, not the land-based variants, but the normal in-game variants. So this one's pretty stock standard. It looks beautiful. It just doesn't have the tropical filters and what have you on the engines. Aside from that, it is a nice aircraft to have. It'll be something else to unlock within the British tree. Then there is the Spitfire Mark VC, and this thing, boy does it look gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. It's going to be an absolute killer like its tropical variant, and that's pretty much it for Britain. Japan, for once, actually gets something in a patch. However, it's not a tank, and I was hoping that Japan would get a new top-tier tank of various sorts, or maybe something else to play with. Instead, it got an aircraft, and this aircraft is similar to the KI-83 or the other heavy interceptors that Japan produced during the war. This is the KI-108, and it is an honestly astonishingly looking plane. It kind of looks like some marine animal that's had Meccano strapped to it. I can't quite describe it. The cockpit, it looks very interesting. It's got a 37mm cannon with 25 rounds and a 20mm cannons times 2, just under the nose there, with 400 rounds. It's got a max speed of 580 kilometers. It's got one singular steel plate of armor, and as per usual, everything is in the wings. Unlike other aircraft, the Japanese actually have the self-sealing fuel tanks in these things, so it should be pretty interesting. Moving on to Italy. Italy, one of my favourite nations in the game, happens to get 2 new aircraft. We're going to start with the new premium that it has, because nobody can get enough of a premium aircraft, and this is absolutely gorgeous. It is a VB Trop, a Spitfire VB Trop at that. It's got the same standard loadout as a regular Spitfire, but boy, doesn't that camouflage pop and stand out. It is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what it is about Spitfires and different camouflages. I will definitely be picking up this thing as it's a VB Trop. The other aircraft that Italy is getting is an RE2000 Series 1. So let's take a look at this. An early war interesting aircraft here. It's a rank 1 battle rating 2.0, and gosh, isn't it cute? It is a cute aircraft indeed. Look at it. Nothing can describe it. It almost looks like a limousine with that sort of the long windows along the back here. Just absolutely gorgeous. It's armed with 2 12.7mm machine guns with 600 rounds, and has a top speed of 502 km an hour. It's got no armour, and the X-ray, well, it's relatively protected, and a quite interesting aircraft, because look how many wing spars this thing has. I quite like this thing, and I think there's going to be a video on this soon to come. That's it for Italy. Now, on to the last nation, France. France gets a Tier 1 bomber at battle rank 2.3. This is the Martin 167A3, and it's a very strange looking aircraft if you ask me. I don't think I've ever seen something so elegant, strange, Pinocchio-like with that long nose. Have no clue. Essentially, it's an American export vehicle that, well, got shipped over to different various nations, and France said, hey, yeah, we want some of that. This is a typical Yak 3, it's a rank 3 battle rating 4.0, it has the 20mm Chevac cannon with 120 rounds, which is nice, And it's got 12.7 machine guns times 2, maximum speed of 616 kilometers an hour. It has armor plating behind the pilot, that's about it. And, well, as for modifications, it's just standard Yak 3. This is the MD452 Mystery, or Mystery, or Mystery. I think it's Mystery, 2C Pre-Series. Goodness, the French couldn't come up with longer names if they tried. It was almost like they're trying to retreat again. Anyway, retreating joke's over. This is a rank 5, battle rating 9.0 aircraft with two 30mm DEFA cannons under the nose here. It is a beautiful looking aircraft indeed. I'm looking to complete my French tech tree, and this is going to be the last aircraft I'll have to unlock, so it's been fun. It does a max speed of 1,027 kilometers, and I can see this thing being competitive to a point, but then again, most French aircraft, excluding the Voiture bombers, they're not really as competitive as I'd like to see them. That being said, it is a nice addition to the French tree, and this is the last aircraft that is being added to War Thunder.